What's good, everyone? I'm Marcus, and today I'm coming to you with another review. This time I'm reviewing the infamous Kabuki Strength 250K Next Generation Power Bar. Now, most may know that this bar was released several years ago and received glowing reviews throughout. It's been re-released into production again with some new colorways, and based on its specs alone, it seems to have all the makings of a top-notch power bar that not only works as a daily driver, but as a bar that will last a lifetime while satisfying your needs with each and every use. I'll get into the specs in just a moment, but I want to first talk about the areas where the mad scientist Chris Duffin decided to take this power bar up a notch in order to separate it from the rest of the playing field. For Duffin, he wasn't satisfied with just the increase in tensile strength of the shaft to above 250K, but he also wanted to improve on the hardness of the bar and knurling. You may know he's an engineer by trade, and his background is what drove him to aim for specific attributes that will make this bar really stand out. The other characteristic he aimed to improve over other bars besides the tensile strength is the Rockwell hardness of the steel. This will improve overall strength and durability of the bar and is tested by attempting to penetrate the steel with a penetrator of sorts, typically a diamond. Imagine the tooling that is needed to cut the knurling into barbells. They have to be stronger or harder than the steel that they're trying to cut into, meaning they have a higher Rockwell hardness. What this translates to in layman's terms, that this bar will truly outlast us. Typically, the term used is last a lifetime, but the manufacturing involved with this bar means it will last longer than that. Duffin says you can pass the bar down through generations, and I believe that based on the specs alone. Now, for the specifications on the bar, first, it is manufactured in the US, Oregon to be specific. It is a 20 kilogram bar, and it has a shaft diameter of 29 millimeters, as do most power bars. Now, my Olympic bar is 28.5 millimeters in diameter, and surprisingly, I was able to tell the difference in diameter between the two immediately just by grip. The diameter of the Next Gen Power Bar feels great to me. The length of the bar is 86.5 inches in total and has a loadable area of 16.5 inches on the sleeve. The knurling is considered aggressive by industry standards, and I certainly agree. It has center knurling with centering rings to help lining yourself up with squats, and it meets IPF and IPL specs. It has a single set of powerlifting knurl rings, and it uses bushings for sleeve rotation. The collars themselves are what I would consider standard collar thickness, not thin competition style collars or thicker deadlift type collars like on the Texas Power Bar. By the way, the reason the Texas Power Bar wasn't on my list of considerations is due to the lower tensile strength of the bar and the 28.5 millimeter diameter. I absolutely wanted a thicker diameter for my power bar, and I'm glad I stuck to my guns because I can absolutely feel the difference in that half millimeter. So that's all the boring spec info for this bar. Now on to the finish. The three finishes available at this new release are black oxide shaft and sleeves, the blood red Cerakote with black oxide sleeves, and red Cerakote shaft with nickel sleeves. I went with the red shaft and black oxide sleeves to fit in with the theme of this home gym. I have to say that although I admired this bar in the past, I didn't want to spend this much on a bar, but I was taken by the new colorway. I'll get into the price and my personal justification for choosing this bar a little later. If you've seen my Rogue Ohio deadlift bar review, you may recall that the black Cerakote sleeves on the bar quickly show some wear from sliding plates on and off. The appeal of this bar is that it uses black oxide instead of Cerakote for the sleeves, and I figured that would be more durable and show less wear and tear than the Cerakote sleeves on my deadlift bar. So far, this has proven to be true. The sleeves of this barbell are snugly secured in place with maintenance-free snap rings and brass bushings. The sleeves do have micro grooves, which I prefer, helping to keep your plates in place during lifts without collars, which I do while warming up to my working sets. And of course, they are finished off with the infamous Kabuki squat face for end caps, which are pretty cool. Now, as previously stated, I wasn't really considering Kabuki for my power bar and looked at several brands, including Rogue. Lately, it seems that most good power bars are around the $400 mark and more often approaching $500 due to the steel shortages and supply chain issues. I had come close to customizing one with Rogue and then was intrigued by their new aggro bar and was considering their 2x aggro version. I like the stainless steel bar and sleeve options personally, and even the black markings on either end of the center knurling. However, the price for the Rogue bar was steep in my opinion at $510 before shipping. Shipping from Rogue is typically pretty fair though. However, considering my options, when this Kabuki bar came up as available in the new blood red color, I weighed the difference between the two, and I thought if I was spending close to $600 for a Rogue bar, I may as well go for the Kabuki bar, which has better specs and is highly claimed by many, so it was easy to justify. Now, for the claims that Kabuki makes about the bar, if you don't believe the hype yourself, you should check out their videos demonstrating the hardness and tensile strength tests that they use, and it's pretty impressive and eye-opening. Suffice it to say, in several tests, they used the Kabuki bar like a cutting tool to grind away at not only the knurling of a couple of competitor bars, but the shaft itself. I have every confidence in this bar meeting and actually exceeding my expectations. This bar is probably too much bar for me, but buy once, cry once, and I'm comfortable with my choice here. Now, as for the feeling of the bar, I have to say this bar is top-notch in every way. Granted, I don't have a personal collection of bars to use and compare it to, but I've used many bars in my time, and it even outshines the Eleiko bars at my commercial gym. I'm sure those purchased for use in the commercial setting aren't from Eleiko's top shelf offerings, but the impression for me is the same. The grip from the aggressive knurling is quite simply awesome. It is a fine knurling and differs from the aggressive knurling of my Rogue Ohio deadlift bar, in that this knurling uses sharp, fine peaks, as opposed to the volcano-style knurling of the Rogue bars. I do love the knurling of my deadlift bar, but I'm curious to see if this Kabuki bar will help with my lacking grip strength for heavy deadlifts. My recent PR of 375 pounds saw the Rogue bar begin to roll out of my hands as I was attempting to lock out, so hopefully this bar will help with keeping it in place. But I do realize great knurling won't help increase my grip strength. For now though, this bar feels phenomenal on my back for squatting and in my hands for benching. On squats, this bar grips really nicely and I don't have to think about it like I did with my Olympic bar. But bench, the grip and stiffness feel great in my hand, and again, I'm able to focus on the movement and the mechanics without considering bar feel. The minimal whip on squats is very evident to me, coming from my Olympic bar with 190K tensile strength. Same with pushing off my chest for benching. The finish is really nice, and in comparison to my Rogue bar, the red is slightly brighter, and the black oxide sleeves have a nice shine to them too. Sadly, I will note that the bar did not arrive in perfect condition, as there were a few minor blemishes on the sleeves, and on the edge of the collar, some nicks that were clearly visible due to exposed metal. That was very disappointing to me, and I still have to reach out to Kabuki to let them know and see how they offer to remedy the situation. So Kabuki's quality control could use some attention, and for a bar this expensive, it should be without flaws on arrival. For any new bar purchase, really. We know bars will take a beating with use, but those beauty marks should come from the owner and not show up at our doorstep with them. So all in all, it's a fantastic bar, even though it's not inexpensive in the least. With that in mind, I realize this is not a bar for everyone. With home gyms being much more common these days, equipment options are plentiful, and the ranges of cost run the gamut. You have plenty to choose from, thankfully. I'm sure I would have been quite satisfied with the tried and true Rogue Ohio Power Bar, but as I said, the version I considered wasn't much cheaper than this bar. The Rep Power Bar EX also has a good reputation, but not quite in this league of power bars. Either way, we each have to make the choice that makes the most sense to us as individuals. If you've watched my videos and other reviews, you will note that I do appreciate good quality at an affordable price, and this one is not what I would consider affordable, but it is also an investment for my home gym. I have looked at some of Kabuki's specialty bars in the past, and I am still considering the Duffalo bar, but I figured as part of my priorities, I need to have a tried and true quality power bar in my lineup before considering a specialty bar for my home gym. I also know that many of the previous reviews of this bar over the years has dinged the overall rating due to the cost from most reviewers, and I would concur with that. However, if you are in the market for a top-notch power bar and the cost of this bar doesn't scare you away, then by all means acquire one of these and you will not regret your choice. This is the cream of the crop in my opinion, and I look forward to using this bar for many years to come. And if my daughter ever gets into lifting, I will be sure to pass it on to her after my lifting days are over, if ever. So I hope this review has helped any of you considering the purchase of a power bar, and if you have any questions that I may not have answered, please drop it in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.